Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael the Comic Nerd, and welcome to another edition of MTCN Talks. Today I want to talk about an issue that, unfortunately, I have a lot of experience and I feel is often misunderstood. Anger. Let's talk about anger. It's worth noting that pretty much since the day I was born, I've always just naturally been an angry person. And obviously, since I've been stuck with that for as long as I can remember, I've spent a lot of time examining why and what sets me off, why I am that way. What can I do about it? How can I control it, or at the very least contain it? Now, I hear from a lot of people, the most common thing I hear is that anger is bad. And I'm here to say that's complete bullshit. Now, as an engineering student, I very much believe that everything has some kind of purpose, even if it's small or we can't directly see it. But it serves some purpose regardless. So I've always kind of wondered why people say that anger is bad and needs to be eradicated like a virus, when it's a part of us. If that was true, why does it exist? Why do we all have it? It's not a foreign entity like a virus. It is very much a part of us. It's part of who we are. So if it serves no purpose or is just all bad, then why is it there? Why is it built into our basic design? I can't speak for everyone, obviously, but for me at least, when applied correctly, my anger very much sparks my determination, my drive, and in many ways my willpower. My anger is that little voice inside me that tells me to keep going when I'm on the ground or I feel broken or weak. When I find that I'm telling myself that I give up, I'm done, I'm tired, anger is that little voice inside me that responds, "You're not done, there's still work to do. You think life gives a shit if you're tired and sad? Get the fuck up and try again." It's that voice in my head that when someone tells me I can't do something, it responds by saying, "Fuck you, watch me." It's that mean coach I hear at the gym when I'm tired and I want to take a break and I just hear it go in my head. Strength isn't going to wait until you're rested. Use all that pain you have and turn it into fuel and keep going. Get mad, you son of a bitch. Yeah, the voice in my head, the angry voice, is very vulgar, and that's kind of the way it works, quite frankly. Anger isn't clean, it's not polite, and it's not really socially acceptable, which may reason some people frown upon it, but you know what? It gives you an extra little dose of power, the power through any obstacle in your way. And sometimes when you're desperate and you feel like you have nothing left, anger can be just the ingredient you need to keep going when nothing else will work. And that's the thing nobody tells you about anger. There's a healing in it. And I found it very helpful in getting over a lot of things over my life. That's not to say my life has been particularly hard, but we all go through struggles regardless. And sometimes anger can help. It gives you that extra boost of power to weather any storm or to shove through any obstacle. It can give you the will to stand your ground and everything else in you is telling you to run and hide. It can give you the power to overcome fear and doubt and just to look fear in the eye and just say, "Fuck it, I'm mad. You want to take me down? Fine, I'm gonna make you work for it." But it can also help you heal old wounds, to get over old traumas and heartbreaks. You get mad and you get over it. There's more to it than that, but that's the basics of it. But you know what? You gotta let yourself feel that way sometimes. It's okay to be mad. So many people feel like it's a bad thing. I don't think it is. The important thing is that you don't put it on other people, because that's not fair to them, but getting mad on its own is not a bad thing. You just gotta ride it out. That all being said, there is still, of course, the negative side of it that most people focus on and most people refer to as the disease. Because anything that makes us feel good, or makes us feel like we're in control of our lives, or just of anything, there is, of course, the danger of excess. This can lead to, of course, addiction and dependency, which leads to a lot of the negative things that I think most people focus on. And of course, still as people that refer to anger like it's a disease or some kind of external virus or something outside of ourselves that can be isolated and destroyed. But I've never thought that as an accurate statement for anger. I've always seen anger as much more of a drug. Because what no one ever really tells you about anger, or no one ever really talks about, at least nothing that I've seen, is just how fucking good anger feels. Because it gives us an excuse and a justification for all of our pain. The ability to blame something or someone for all of our problems and get angry about it is so easy to do, and it is so addicting to do because, for all intents and purposes, it gives us permission to wallow in self-pity and to not try to do anything about it. But don't make the mistake of confusing anger with rage. That's a whole different beast. Anger, by its very nature, is short-term. It dissipates pretty quickly, usually a matter of a few hours, give or take, depending on the person. Rage, in comparison, can last weeks, months, or even years of just that slow burning sensation that never really stops as long as we let it fester. That's the cancer. That's the disease. That's what they try to warn you about. That's anger at its worst form. Because rage isn't necessarily a singular emotion like anger is. It's a combination of emotions, like anger, pain, sorrow, bitterness, self-hatred, or hatred of others. All of that stews and festers for a long time until you're just stuck with this deep, burning rage that you don't really know what to do with, and you can't really make it go away, and at worst, it can eventually become like a dear friend. Now, that might seem like a weird concept for a lot of people, but it's disturbingly true, or at least in the cases I've seen, in the cases I've seen of myself. Because after a certain point, you become so comfortable with the rage. You become used to it. So used to it that a part of you is afraid of what you would do without it. So you keep it close. Because you're afraid to lose it now. It's become too much a part of you. And it warps you. It really does. It turns you into something less than yourself, turns into something ugly. And that can reflect on yourself and the people around you. And it robs you of everything good you can have because all you see is the negative. All you can see is everything that can fuel your rage even further. And that just destroys any chance of happiness. Part of me lives in this rage. I don't particularly like that part of myself. It scares me. I'm a little afraid that one day it will completely corrupt me. But I'm aware of it. I'm aware of that part of myself. I'm aware of its existence. Which means I think I can at least try to fight it. But I'm getting off topic now, so I think that leads us all to the one question is how do we use anger to help rather than to hurt? How do we use it right? Well, I'm not an expert in this particular field. I have learned that a lot of it comes down to what exactly you're angry at. If you're angry at a person, for instance, that's likely to turn to hate, which can lead to rage if not dealt with. The same goes if there's really any blame at all involved in your anger, because there's that pesky justification again. However, what if you're just angry at the current circumstances? Not the people, not the things, just the circumstances. The way things are, how they stand. And then you decide that you want to do something about it, you want to change it. I believe that's when anger becomes useful. Because when you're not mad at one singular person or one singular thing, you're not blaming it for all your problems, and you're just mad at the whole fucking world. And then little anger speaks in your head and just says, well, let's do something about it. And then that is when you're moved to action. I should stress within legal limits, of course, because I'm not trying to advocate riots or anything like that. Admittedly, this is hard to do. And it's worth knowing that this is a trick I've only very recently learned, and I would hardly call myself good at it. But I'm still learning regardless. So I hope if I keep trying, I'll eventually learn how to use my anger to my advantage. Although that won't always be the case. It's worth knowing that right off the bat. Sometimes I just find myself angry at people, places, circumstances, the way things are. Or, at worst, myself. I have a tendency to blame myself for a lot of things. Angry that things didn't work out the way I wanted to, or things fell apart and I found myself right back at square one, or I made a mistake that left me in a place that I told myself I'd never be in again. That's the stuff where that angry part of me really just has a field day. And you gotta watch out for those days, they're a bitch. And yeah, you can't stop yourself from feeling the negative parts of anger. But you can also harness the good parts, and maybe you can even use the pain of the negative to help fuel the fires of determination. You don't like the way things are, let's get mad and do something about it. Show me your war face. You don't scare me, now show me your real war face.